Hi friends. We didn't do this on Wednesday night, but we're going to do it next Wednesday. And I'm going to probably start doing some of these and getting ahead. But anyway, I'm going to do one on the major scale, on A major scale. So a couple things to know that we'll talk about in class, but a scale is just a set of predetermined notes in an order, okay? So we've done nonsense scales before, where we just made up the pattern, okay? There are notes in that, but it didn't mean anything. But there's different kinds of scales. All of our music is essentially built on the major scale. And the major scale we talked about in class, there's a convention and a concept. A concept means there's a reason behind it. There's something going on there. A convention is basically just like, why did we decide to use a number sign for sharps and like a little weird looking B for flats in music? Why do we use an X for times in math? That's just the way we decided to do it. Okay, the major scale and how it's built, it's actually pretty genius how everything works together. So somebody had a design here, of course, but honestly, I don't know. The formula for it and how you derive it, I don't know how they decided that. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. But there is a formula for it. If you want to read about what the major scale is and how we derive it, you can read on page 33 through 36 or whatever it is. You can read on that. We're going to go through that in our music theory class. I'll try to introduce a little bit of that before, so it's not quite so jarring when we do the music theory one. But there is a reason, there is a way that the major scale is built, and you can figure out how to build any major scale. But there's only, in music, there's what's called, there's different notes, but then there's called an octave, and it has to do with like their vibrating resonance. I don't understand physically quite how this works, but there's a note, like a C note, and then you go all the way up, and then there's another C that's higher. That's an octave up. Okay, so they're essentially the same note. They're higher pitch, but I don't know how this works. They have some resonance factor. It's a C. There's a C low, and then there's a C high. There's a G low, there's a G higher, and there's a G higher than that. Okay, those are all G's. I don't really know how to explain that, and I'm a decently smart dude. So you don't have to try and figure that out. But in between those octaves, which are where the different notes occur, there's 12 different notes in there. And that is a convention also. Like from C to D, that is a whole step. We do have a note in between there. It's called C sharp or D flat. They're the same thing. Flat means you're coming down. Sharp means you're going up. So if C and D, there's one note in between them, which is a C sharp or a D flat. Okay? Why there isn't 4 notes in between there? I don't know. In some international music and different things, there's actually other notes. We just, in our Western style pop that's been going on since like classical music and even before, that's what we use. And that's a convention. That's just what everybody has decided it is, okay? So there's no concept going on there. The concept is there is a way to build it. There's a formula for making major scales. That's a concept. You don't really have to know that now, but we're just going to go through it. We're going to treat it like a nonsense scale in that it's meant to be played as a pattern for us, but you just kind of have to memorize the pattern, okay? So the good thing about a guitar is that it's essentially just a big pattern box, because if I play a major scale, well, that's a major scale. That was actually a B flat major scale. If I were to play that same shape, every pattern nonsense scale sort of that I just did, and I move up a fret, I play the same patterns with my fingers, essentially like a nonsense scale that we've been doing. That's a major scale too, but it's no longer B flat because I moved up a fret. It'd be a half step higher, which would be B. It's a B major scale. Okay, so if I know one scale or one pattern, that's a B major scale. Same pattern with my fingers, but now I've moved it up, so it's a C major scale. Moved it up 2, that's a D major scale. So the guitar is a pattern box. Your fingers are going to make shapes and patterns, and you can move them around and they're going to be the same. So that's the cool thing about a guitar. How this practically works for major scales, and this is where the meat of it comes. So this is the important part right here. In any key, we're going to do all of our scales in the key of C because there's no sharps or flats in the key of C. So it just makes it easier to talk about. In any key, there's only 5 ways or 5 patterns of major scales. 5 like nonsense patterns. We did the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3, 2, 4, whatever. There's only 5 different patterns all the way up and down the neck. Okay, 5 different scales. All those 5 will cover you across the whole neck for the key of C. And the good news is if you just shift the location of any of those, you're in a different key. So you only need to memorize 5 shapes of scales for the major scales, which is great news, okay? So that was kind of a long explanation for this, but on page 42, we're going to do our first major scale. And there's a reason why I'm kind of jumping around on not starting with the one in first position or second position or whatever. There's a reason for that, but you don't have to know that now. But if you go to page 42, top left, it says C major scale in 7th position. Okay, 7th position again means your first finger is at the 7th fret. So second finger has the 8th fret covered, third finger has 9th fret covered, pinky finger has the 10th fret covered. Okay, so pretty much anywhere that there's one of those notes on those frets, that's the finger that has to do it. So on that diagram on page 42, again, you're looking at those like you're looking at the guitar. So the B1, C2, D4, that's the very first string closest to your face. Okay, so on 7th fret, 7th position, it says B1. B means that's the note that you're playing. You don't really have to know that or memorize it, but that's your first finger, okay? Notice all the ones on that fret are 1s. The next fret are all 2s. I think that makes sense by now. So the C major scale, the first note in this position, actually B. I'm not going to play that because I want us to hear the root, the 1, the C. So I'm going to start it there. So even though the B, the first finger, is in the scale, we're going to skip that for now. So we're going to start it with the middle finger, which is the C. And we're going to play the 4th finger, which is a D note. Then we're going to go to the next string, first finger, which is an E, F2, second finger, 4th finger is a G, first finger is A on next string, ring finger is a 3, or obviously it's a B. Okay, so that's your octave, okay? That's the end of the scale, okay? We can go up another octave, but that's the whole of the major scale for 1 octave. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's the whole major scale. We're going to go all the way up this position, but I'm going to start back at the beginning. C2, D4, first finger on E, second finger, I'm just going to call the finger now. 4th finger, first finger, 3rd finger. We're back at C with the 4th finger. Going up again, we have D, E, F. That's 1, 3, 4. And then we have 2, 4, 1, 2. Now that's the octave there. So that was another major scale. So starting at the other octave, C4. If I go up from there, that's another major scale, okay? So the way I would practice these is I would start with the C, with your middle finger, and go all the way up, up, downs. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I would hit the next one because that's gonna help you turn around. So I'm gonna do it a little faster. I'm going to hit that B again because I want to start on the down with the C. Okay, so start with the middle finger, but when you're coming up, you want to start covering them all. So I'm going to go a little slower, but I'm just going to keep going up and down. And that's what I want to do with this scale until I have it memorized, okay? I'm going to get a tempo going. And I'm going to go down ups with the metronome. So ready and go and down, up, 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 down, up. That stunk at the end, but I'm just going to keep going up and down. I'm going to go a little faster. You would want to go whatever tempo is good for you, but just for the sake of the video time, I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to double this. So. One more time. I'm just going to keep doing that. Okay? Just keep rolling it up and down, up and down, and up and down. If you start with the middle finger, you're going to be able to always hit the root with a down, which kind of feels more comfortable. It starts to help you hear where the tones start and stop. Okay? So that's what I would do, because you need to memorize that pattern of shapes with your fingers. Okay, you need to memorize the 1, 2, 3, or I guess starting with the middle finger. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. You know, you need to memorize that. But the good news is you only have 4 others to memorize, and the patterns never change for any other key. They're all the same. So that, friends, is great news. Now, there's other kinds of scales, but kind of. Yes, and kind of. One thing that you might want to do in working with these scales is take an octave at a time. So if you're looking at this one, we're going to start with the middle finger, just like we always were doing before, or we're doing. And I would stop at the next time I see a C, maybe go one more note for the up, so I can always hit that C on a down, but just do 1 octave at a time. So here's an example of that. I would go C on the middle finger, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now here's the C. I'm going to go, no, I need to stop there. That's an up. So I'm just going to keep going. And then back down. Oh, that's better. Okay, so. You could go down, I guess. But anyway, just doing the 1 scale kind of helps you get the real picture of like, oh, that's where it starts, that's where it ends, that's the top, that's the bottom. So that's a good thing to do. That is the first G major scale we're going to learn. And it's essentially a pattern in your fingers. Okay, you don't have to memorize the notes. What you really need to memorize is that pattern in your fingers. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Okay, and then back down. That's a C major scale in that position. Great work.